Welcome back, Daniel, Mr. Cuervo Racing. Today we have the Monster slip-on pipe for a Raptor 700 with the single exhaust port, bikes from 2015 and up. So today we have a used pipe that we're doing testing and mapping on. This was actually off of my brother's bike. He ended up upgrading. But this is a slip-on rear section from using the factory header and goes about from the mid-frame back. So they've had a little revision since this exhaust has come out and the exhaust tip is different now. But besides that, pretty much the same thing. So this is what you'll get: a muffler, spark arrestor option, and a mid pipe with a heat shield. And we're going to do a quick install on this, show you what you will need to do if you're installing one of these pipes. And then we'll do a pause, we'll do some dyno pulls, and do a comparison from what is a stock pipe with spark arrestor out, kind of where you're maxed out at in the stock system, and the upgrade to the Monster slip-on. So set you down. First thing we're going to loosen here is in the mid pipe. There is a 6mm Allen. Want to back this off pretty much all the way till this clamp is really loose. Alright, quite a ways out there. Next step is going to be loosening the exhaust muffler on the mid pipe, or on the mid frame. So we're going to go to here. There we are. We got two bolts, one there, one there. 12mm. Suppose I should have brought my impact over here, but I didn't. So these slip-on pipes are not upgradable, and most aren't on the market, are not upgradable to a full system. Most of the manufacturers make either a slip-on and a completely different full system. So you can't buy just the header. They are entirely different. So a lot of guys, if you're getting a slip-on pipe, you need to be confident in that you're only going to leave it with a slip-on pipe. Otherwise, you'll have to resell it and buy a full system. So once you get to this point, you're just going to rock this exhaust back and forth, and it will slide out of the way like that. So you do lose quite a bit of weight too coming off of there, because that stock pipe's pretty heavy. Alright, so next up is you're going to want to put the mid-side pipe inside of the muffler. This one's been beat up a little bit. Got kind of banged up a little bit in an accident, so there we go. Being a little stubborn. I don't know how to do that off the camera, but That's how it's going to be. So this mid pipe here, there is no gasket that goes in here. You can use silicone. They seal really well, just slipping onto the other exhaust. Just a slip fit. So as you see back here, we need to remove this rear bolt because that's how this monster mounts, not using the factory pulls. So we're going to take that off. They do come with longer bolts, and the head on them is 13 millimeter. For the current usage, I'm just going to run one of these bolts in. It's a little short, but might catch the thread. I'm just going to do a couple dyno pulls, so it should work for now. We'll see. Alright. That bolt is barely long enough. So once we get that on here, we'll make sure this header's tight. We need to tighten these two bolts. And Monster has afforded us the luxury of using standard hardware, which I don't personally care for. I wish they would change that, but there's so many years in production that way right now that that's likely not going to change. But small inconvenience on really nice products. So when you're tightening these two bolts, you got to tighten them, go back and forth a few times. They are pretty close together, so to get proper clamping force, you need to just go front to back on them a couple of times. So as you can see, those still move. I'm going to tighten the other one. Alright, so we are there. Got the monster pipe on there, it looks pretty good. Slip on. We're gonna pause, do some dyno pulls, and I'll show you the result. All right, so well, there you have it. Let's get that light fixed. All right, once again on the dyno poles coming in at different times. Not being super scientific here, but this highlighted area here is kind of going to go away. It's going to be a wash. So basically, you can see on the roll in this mid-range making a little bit more power, but all of this top end is really the same. So we're not gaining much from that monster slip-on. It's more about looks and sound than it is anything else. Yeah, and that's is what it is, really. You know, they're not gonna sugarcoat anything. I like to see a little bit more gains out of stuff, but in this configuration, that slip-on gives a little bit more mid-range throttle response. The tune-up was pretty close between the two. I do have them tuned in fairly rich. Not crazy, but fairly rich on these maps. So possible leaning it out could change something, but not really. But there you have it. Most of the slip-ons on the market are gonna do about the same, where they make some noise, they look good, and that's about it. So, alright guys, until the next one, we're gonna try to make some more horsepower with a full system and some different mods, and we'll continue on.